Essay number 5, 16 Signs of a Socially Intelligent Person. We've all been there. You're in a conversation and something feels off. Maybe they're interrupting constantly. Maybe every story somehow becomes about them. Or maybe they're fishing for compliments so obviously that you feel manipulated into responding. You can't quite put your finger on it, but you know this person lacks something fundamental in how they connect with others. What they lack is social intelligence. Now, before we dive in, let me be clear about something. Social intelligence isn't about having perfect manners or being universally liked. It's not about memorizing the right things to say or following some outdated etiquette rulebook. True social intelligence is the ability to navigate human connections authentically while making others feel seen and respected. It's about understanding the invisible dynamics that make conversations flow or falter. And here's the interesting part. Most socially intelligent people don't even realize they're doing these things. It's become so natural to them that they can't imagine operating any other way. So today we're going to break down the 16 core signs of genuine social intelligence. And I'm willing to bet you'll recognize yourself in more of these than you expect. Let's start with something you've definitely experienced. You know when someone tells you a story and you can feel them pushing for a specific reaction? Like they're inflating their accomplishments to make you say wow or exaggerating their problems to extract sympathy? Socially intelligent people never do this. They share their experiences without emotional manipulation. They trust that their story can stand on its own merit without forcing you to react in a predetermined way. This creates genuine connection because everyone can relax and respond naturally. Here's another dead giveaway of social intelligence: how someone disagrees with you. Unintelligent communicators say things like, "That's wrong," or "That idea is stupid." But socially intelligent people, they say, "I see it differently," or "That hasn't been my experience." See the distinction? One shuts down conversation, the other opens it up. They understand that every idea exists because it serves someone somewhere, even ideas they strongly disagree with. This isn't weakness or indecision. It's the recognition that absolute statements about complex topics are almost always oversimplifications. Now let's talk about criticism, because this is where social intelligence really shows itself. We all know someone who becomes immediately defensive the moment you suggest anything could be improved. They attack, they deflect, they turn it back on you. Socially intelligent people do something radically different. They pause. They listen. They consider. They might not agree with every piece of feedback, but they don't treat it as an attack on their character. They understand that immediate emotional reactions are just defensiveness in disguise. Here's a subtle but powerful sign. Socially intelligent people never confuse their opinions with facts. Instead of saying, "He's a jerk," they say, "I had an uncomfortable experience with him." Instead of "She's incompetent," they say, "Her work style doesn't mesh well with mine." This isn't just semantic gymnastics. It's the recognition that our experience of someone is exactly that, our experience, not universal truth. Watch how socially intelligent people argue, and you'll notice they never use phrases like "you always" or "you never." These are the nuclear weapons of conversation, designed to attack character rather than address behavior. Instead, they use "I feel" statements. Not because they read it in a self-help book, but because they actually want to solve problems rather than win battles. They know that the moment you attack someone's identity, you've lost any chance of genuine resolution. One of the clearest signs of social intelligence is precision in communication. No word salad, no talking in circles hoping you'll guess what they really mean. They say what needs to be said, clearly and directly, without unnecessary cushioning or aggressive bluntness. They've learned that clarity is kindness, and that most misunderstandings come from people being too afraid to say what they actually mean. This next one is crucial. Socially intelligent people have mastered the art of not making everything about themselves. When you tell them about your promotion, they don't immediately launch into their own success story. When you share a problem, they don't hijack it with, "That reminds me of when I." They can hold space for your experience without their ego demanding center stage. They understand that sometimes the best thing you can do in a conversation is simply witness someone else's reality without inserting yourself into it. Here's something fascinating about how socially intelligent people share knowledge. They never make you feel stupid for not knowing something. Instead of, "I can't believe you don't know that," they say, "Oh, I just learned something interesting about this." Instead of lecturing, they invite discussion. They ask, "What do you think about that?" rather than assuming their perspective is the only valid one. They educate without condescending because they remember that they too were once unaware of what they now know. Now, this distinction is absolutely critical. Socially intelligent people understand that validating someone's feelings is not the same as agreeing with their ideas. When someone says they're hurt, responding with, "You shouldn't feel that way," is dismissive and unhelpful. Feelings aren't right or wrong, they simply exist. Socially intelligent people can acknowledge someone's emotional reality while still disagreeing with their interpretation of events. They can hold both truths simultaneously. Here's where social intelligence gets really deep. You know that coworker who drives you absolutely crazy? That behavior that makes your blood boil? Socially intelligent people recognize these intense reactions as mirrors. They understand that what triggers us most in others often reflects something unresolved in ourselves. That person's arrogance might trigger your own insecurity about being seen as important. Their passivity might remind you of your own tendency to give away your power. It's not always a direct correlation, but when there's a strong emotional charge, there's usually projection involved. Socially intelligent people have an almost supernatural ability to recognize when an argument is pointless. Some people argue to understand, others argue to win. Within a few exchanges, socially intelligent people can tell the difference. When someone starts twisting logic just to score points or pulling for increasingly absurd arguments, they disengage. Not rudely, not dismissively, but they simply stop investing energy in a conversation that's going nowhere. Listen to how differently socially intelligent people actually listen. They're not waiting for their turn to talk. They're not formulating their response while you're still speaking. They're actually hearing you. Therapists call this holding space, being fully present for someone else's experience without trying to fix it, change it, or redirect it back to yourself. It's rarer than you think, and when you experience it, you never forget how it feels. In our digital age, here's a simple but telling sign. Socially intelligent people think before they post. They apply a simple filter. Would I be comfortable with my employer seeing this? My kids? My parents? If the answer is no, they don't post it. They understand that authentic self-expression doesn't require broadcasting every thought, and that digital footprints are essentially permanent. Notice how socially intelligent people never position themselves as the ultimate arbiters of truth. They don't say, "You're wrong." They say, "I think you're mistaken," or "I disagree." This tiny linguistic shift acknowledges that their perspective is just one among many. It keeps conversations open instead of slamming them shut. Here's something most people get wrong. When someone makes a valid point, socially intelligent people can acknowledge it regardless of who's making it. They don't dismiss good ideas because they come from flawed people. They understand that someone can be a hypocrite and still speak truth. They evaluate ideas on their merit, not on the character of the messenger. This is surprisingly rare and surprisingly powerful. And finally, the foundation of all social intelligence. Socially intelligent people understand that their relationship with everyone else is an extension of their relationship with themselves. How you treat others reflects how you treat yourself. Your external relationships mirror your internal one. That's why socially intelligent people invest heavily in self-awareness, self-compassion, and personal growth. They know it ripples out into every interaction they have. So here's what I want you to take away from this. Social intelligence isn't about perfection. It's not about never making mistakes or always knowing the right thing to say. It's about awareness. It's about growth. It's about approaching human connection with curiosity rather than judgment, with humility rather than certainty. The very fact that you've listened to this entire essay suggests you care about how you impact others. That alone is a sign of social intelligence. Most people go through life unconsciously bumping into others, never questioning their communication patterns or their effect on the people around them. But not you. You're here, thinking about these things, considering how you might grow. So here's my challenge. Pick just one of these signs to focus on this week. Maybe it's really listening without planning your response. Maybe it's catching yourself before saying you always or you never. Maybe it's validating someone's feelings even when you disagree with their conclusions. Small changes compound into transformation. Remember, true social intelligence isn't about being liked by everyone. That's impossible and exhausting. It's about being genuine while being kind. It's about being honest while being compassionate. It's about being yourself while making space for others to be themselves too. The world doesn't need more people trying to win every conversation. It needs more people who can hold complexity, who can disagree without demonizing, who can connect without controlling. It needs more people who understand that the quality of our relationships determines the quality of our lives. And that understanding, that's social intelligence.